Dobra, jestem z powrotem. O! Dzięki za hosta do kosaka. Widzę, że wpadliśmy praktycznie w tym samym momencie. Okej, kontynuujemy dzisiaj. Teraz Phoenixa Wrighta. Honorowe 3. miejsce. Że co, że zająłeś 3. miejsce? O co ci chodzi? Honorowe 3. miejsce. Rise from the ashes. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court of Anal Lobby number 2. Zająłeś, bo pisałeś, że idziesz na Dice Royale. Aha, no tak. Nieźle, gratulacje. Znalazłeś się na podium. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. Oh! And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Godzina 10. Sala rozpraw numer 9. Rubber, yep.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you have to clarify.
It takes 15 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I heard the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait?
Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls The suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. Mikins. Twoimi brońmi był posąg Gabe'a, organy kościelne z średniowiecza, tarcza i książka mądrości psychopatów Kevina Duttona. Posąg Gabe'a? Czy chodzi o Gabe'a Newella?
The suspect, you mean the so-called murderer?
Rubble. Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. No. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what you'd like to... Sir, I'd like you would call part of younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir.
Już zaczyna gadać jak on. Posąg Gabe'a Newella zadaje się nim 18 obrażeń i każdy z nas miał po 20 HP, więc to był potężny cios. Przewróciłeś na kogoś posąg Gabe'a Newella. Nie no, to się nazywa zarąbista partia. Officer Mikins.
Yes, sir.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am a part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir.
What the fuck? You can fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Ciekawe, wczoraj nam powiedział zupełnie coś innego. Znaczy wczoraj w sensie w grze wczoraj.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Mickens family motto, sir. I see, then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir, he knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
What the fuck is going on? Z książki Mądrość psychopatów mistrz gry wyciągnął łóżko do tortur i rozciągnął twoją ofiarę. Miała 2 HP, a twój rzut był na 17. Nice. What I need here is more info to work with. Hej, zaczynamy od przyciśnięcia go na każdym zdaniu. Mr. Mikins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Eeks! Now there's a scary part. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which means many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir. It was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transfer process.
Czy on ma odcisk ręki pod okiem? Tylko 2 razy trafiłeś, ale kurna to były potężne ciosy, no.
That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the blue badger to evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you get there? God. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
There it is, I found it! This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir, it's 489899596. That's my number, sir.
I see, but the number is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the blue badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Data added to ID record room. Czyli teraz brakuje nam już tylko pierwszego wpisu 77777777. Zgaduję, że to będzie ktoś wysoko położony, żeby umiał łatwo zapamiętać swój numer. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus trying to defeat him. That's how I got this gash on my hands.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be.
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into Kung Fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife!
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
So? I see. He must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his wet coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir!
About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
he hit me right in the head too. I woke up crying tears of pain. Fuck. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you've recovered, that is. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. No, czyli dlatego jest odcisk palca pod okiem tego Blue Badgera? To będzie jego odcisk? Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly good, accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor, only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Mickens. With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail, sir. So, Chief Gunn delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The Chief delivered it? What is that, a videotape? Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. I was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Just what we are getting ourselves into. Jest i ktoś, kto wygląda jak Goodman. Otworzył szafkę, wypadła rękawica, ale nie widać jego twarzy cały czas. O, a tu idzie Mickens z pałką policyjną. Mówiłeś, że nie miałeś żadnej broni, a tu masz pałkę policyjną. Ha! Ale... Gdzie się podział... Goodman? Poza tym... Gdzie jest ta kamera? Na jednej z szafek? Strasznie nisko położona jest ta kamera. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. Where's the Blue Badger, sir? Why am I not surprised this is going smoothly? A video from the security camera plays in the evidence room. Yes, well... This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room and sort of, activity. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Mickens? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. Mystery Man. His face can be clearly seen in the video. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
Fajne ma zdjęcie na tym swoim identyfikatorze.
What's this about the fingerprint?
O, pięknie. Teraz się zorientowałem, że zapomniałem włączyć nagrywanie. Okej. Będę musiał wyciąć godzinę z transmisji. Dobrze, że Twitch zachowuje przez jakiś czas nagrania streamów. Okej, załączymy nagrywanie teraz. I muszę pamiętać, że pierwsze 23,5 minuty muszę wyciąć z początku tego streamu i w jakimś programie dokleić je do tego nagrania, które będzie teraz. I ono ma trwać 40 minut. Okej. Cały ja. Each detective have been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by a detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim of the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of a man who attacked you with a knife?
Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen that man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter?
The latter, but you were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see.
Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I'd bet my badge on it.
But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Zaś to samo.
Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your statements as disturbing or...
Dickens! Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. You open the locker which requires his fingerprints. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. Kurde. Odrobienia głosu sędziego, gdzie muszę tak dziwnie napiąć mięśnie w gardle, cały czas ziewam.
If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to is registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir. And this too.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know.
The workers of the department cafeteria, sir, they kept me informed. They also listened to my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprints.
So it must be him. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do, after all, you're the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it.
Mr. Wright, let's check the call record again.
Is there a problem with the security video? Zróbmy save i powiedzmy, że oczywiście, że jest problem. No bo jakby inaczej. There's a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Druga runda, wybacz? No problemu. Ja tak do 11 myślę, że dzisiaj posiedzę, może do 24, także jak się skończy, to wpadaj.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright.
It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us.
Where is the contradiction in this video? Ta muzyka nie pomaga! Czy tu chodzi o tą rękawicę, która wypada z szafki, kiedy on otwiera tą szafkę? Spróbujmy. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this.
Yes, that is strange. Something suddenly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten one point of this exercise. The point? What are you looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates that the man may not be Detective Goodman. Oh, yeah.
I almost walked right into the defense trap.
Oh, please give me the rest, sir.
Rats, I need to slow down and tackle these things one piece at a time. Now, what do I do? Play the video again. Very well, let's try this again. Just remember one thing, Mr. Wright. Every time you point your finger, someone gets hurt. Says the one pointing his finger at us. I will play the tape, okay? Przewińmy to do przodu. Do momentu, kiedy on będzie już po walce. Wypadła rękawicka. Tu jest walka. I leci od początku. O tą odznakę może chodzić?
Hold on a second, I need to use my eye drops. Well, I don't get it.
Would you mind if I borrow your eye medicine?
Don't look at me with those bleary eyes.
Before your eyes get too teary, perhaps you should think this through again. What do I do? Jesus, co ja mam tu zrobić w ogóle? Zapiszmy to jeszcze raz. Co chodzi o to, że nie widać, jak on wychodzi? Chwila! Tu nie ma nic w tym momencie. A po tej całej walce z tej szafki zaczyna wystawać kawałek ubrania. Znalazłem to.
Jeszcze nie. Pokazuje się nam widok jego obezwładnionego. I teraz nagle tutaj jest coś wystające z tej szafki. O to musi chodzić. The thing that's strange about this video has to be this.
Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What we're looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates that men may or may not be Detective Goodman. Oh yeah. No ale to chwila. Znalazłem inną kontradykcję? What the fuck? Dobra. Tu się pojawia Goodman. To, że on miał pałkę? Nie rozumiem. Ale też nie to. Nie czaję. Dobra, wróćmy może w takim razie do cross-egzaminacji. It seems I've been taking the wrong approach.
No, then the defense may resume its cross-examination. Assuming the witness is still willing to continue, that is, Officer Pickens?
Yes, sir. It is my duty as a police officer to help the lost, sir.
Great, and now they think I'm lost. The man's face.
Sir, if I may say something.
Please do. It was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. It was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body. Yes, we have a point the footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? No, musi być problem, bo nie mam pojęcia, co innego mogę tu zrobić. Tylko co jest problemem? The victim and a good man, detective in criminal affairs who handle SL9 case. Thinks he's a cowboy. Point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. Co ja mam pokazać? Pokazałem... Chyba, że mam pokazać szafkę. Nie. To co, mam pokazać nóż, który nie jest złamany? Bo nie czaję. Tak, nóż, który my mamy, jest złamany, a jego nóż jest w całości. Może tu o to chodzi, że nóż nie jest złamany. I don't get it. I don't get it too. Co ja mam mu pokazać? You're about to examine a videotape. There are 3 buttons. Look at Goodman Locker. It's lit up. Serio? Ja na tym nagraniu nie widzę, żeby się świeciło światło. Że ta szafka jest otwarta, ale wygląda na to, że o to chodzi. No rzeczywiście. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Mickens.
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparently works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Nie wiem, czy ja bym to dostrzegł. Aż na takie szczegóły nie zwracam uwagi, goddammit. Dostrzegłem, że wystaje kawałek ubrania z szafki, gdzie wcześniej nie wystawał. Tu wypada rękawiczka. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a later area. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Order. What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh, well, it just goes to show that it should keep their mouths shut. Novice. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why hasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Maybe something like jammed the system sensor.
Something jammed the sensor, say. There's something else that seems out of place in this video.
Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked? Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this.
No to już wiemy. Ta wypadająca rękawiczka.
Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Thank God there is no music.
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are open. I often fall out and roll great distance.
We can be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my toy. 2 out of 3 times I get it stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol's vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene...
There just might have been something that fits the description.
But sir, by insulator you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out.
Very well, will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was struck in the locker door? In the locker door! Oh!
Rubber glove. Tagged evidence from SL9 incident. Extremely thin rubber glove. No jak wiemy, guma jest insulatorem, czyli nie przewodzi prądu. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to predict the victim's opening the locker. Depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lead lamps attest to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened the locker. Is this not so, Officer Mickens?
Sir? Would appear so, sir.
Order. So are we to believe that the victim whom this witness stabbed in the witness room was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Miggins, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is that a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony.
Mr. Man numer 2.
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. And at the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record, I see. I have the ID record right here, Your Honor. Oh.
The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transfer. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transfer there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
There's one other thing that proves that was Detective Goodman. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir, solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out fully. As we said, one never knows what he might say until the very last second.
To enter the evidence room, one must use ID card. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Yes, sir, that card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time is my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, the ID...
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor. He must be behind this, being the prosecutor.
Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer?
Shh, don't stare at him. You've got the wrong color, kid.
It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him.
At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Ariel, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me an ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe you just panicked?
Everything seems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth's to miss something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we got.
To już było. Jest zdjęcie na tej karcie identyfikującej, więc jeżeli nie byłby on Bruce'em Goodmanem, to by od razu poznał ten Miknis by od razu poznał, że to nie jest on. Przynajmniej takie mam odczucie, że może o to chodzić. Zobaczmy. Spróbujmy tutaj zarobić save'a. Muzyka zgasła, więc chyba trafiłem. Wait one moment, Officer Mikins. Okej, ale dokończymy ten odcinek w następnym. Dokończymy to przesłuchanie w następnym odcinku. Mam nadzieję, że teraz uda mi się załączyć nagrywanie.